Bryan Mbeumo, deal week. Here we go. Or is it not? We heard it all before, medical, everything, but certainly looks like Bryan Mbeumo is going to be a Manchester United player. And oh my God, we're going to talk about Ineos doing this on purpose, milking it. Omar Berrada, the positioning on power, not to sort of demonstrate to the rest of the world that we will be taken for granted because we're Manchester United. We're not the Manchester United of the old, we are the Manchester of the new. Whatever we want, we will get, and I believe that is the case because we are frustrating the player Bryan Mbeumo. We are frustrating Brentford to sort of accept a bit so they can line up the replacements which we are seeing at the moment. So what's going on? It's a power of positioning for Manchester United, and if you know Omar Berrada, that's how he operates. So as a fan, you kind of feel a little bit that this is now milking it to its maximal potential. 6 weeks going on, and oh my God, just get it over the line, sign it up, send him off to the US tour if he ever going to go to the US tour. So listen, at the end of the day, I just want this to be completed because Manchester United, you snooze, you lose. What is going on with the striker target? Who is going to be a striker now? The Gyökeres is gone, plan A, plan B, Liam Delap. You know, it looks like, Victor Osimhen is getting a cheap deal to go to Galatasaray. And who are we linked to? We look at our rivals going, wow, listen, Liverpool strengthening, City strengthening, Arsenal is doing a madness. And what are we doing? We're acting like a mid-table club. You can look at, how we finished in last season, 15th. And seriously, if you're going to make top 4, you got to make a move, Man United. And I know that the outs are stalling the process. I know that, the here we go for Marcus Rashford to Barcelona is going to be the one to watch. It's going to be a saga. Barcelona, we know they got money. They were willing to spend 50 million for Nico Williams and Luis Diaz from Liverpool, but they are coming to sort of lowball Manchester United, say we might take him on a loan. But you got to look at it from that perspective. Can they register Marcus Rashford? Big question mark. Anyway, this is Mick Ruby from Mufc Realist TV on this day of recording. Nothing really to particularly report about other than Richard Rios. Yes, you heard it on this channel first. You heard it from me and Alfredo Padula on Twitter as well. And this is the one to watch. We're going to talk about the midfielder situation. There is genuine interest from Manchester United to make a bid on 26 million. So what is going on there with Richard Rios? Well, let me tell you this. What Alfredo Padula exclusively told us as well over the weekend is that, yes, there was interest from Portuguese. They put a bid on 20, which was rejected. Roma was pouncing in because they knew that there was, interest from Manchester United and also Inter Milan that has more money than Roma. So Roma made a 22 million bid, was rejected. They came in with a 25 million bid, was now yesterday, as per reports, rejected. And Roma don't have the money. Richard Rios and Palmeiras, they are insisting on 30 million euros plus some add-ons, and this is where it's going to happen. The Manchester United will potentially get Mbeumo over the line, not really go for the striker, but go for the cheap alternative in the midfield to replace Christian Eriksen. And I salute this. This is a signing that I want us to do, right? We got South American players like, scouted, like, Diego Leon, 100% unknown entity. It's a risk. But if you look at Richard Rios himself, he's 25 years of age, wants to make the move, like for like, competitive engine, like Edison that we also are linked to, but for a more extortion price. We know Atalanta is very difficult to do business with. Last year in January, we got offered 40 million pounds to do the deal. We said no, we're going to come back in the summer, and now they increased with another 10 million. So Manchester United potentially looking at 50 million pounds to do the deal for Edison. So it makes sense that Man United are more looking at Richard Rios, which I reported. It is a Christopher Vivell and Wilcox scouting and signing. So if you compare apples to apples, they are like for like, and this is what Manchester United need. Like, they need creativity, somebody that has an engine for, can run up and down, box to box, like as a midfielder. Like a service creativity, you have Cunha to the left, you have Mbeumo to the right, and the question mark striker in the middle, which we're going to talk about later on in this video. It makes sense. You throw in like 30 million euros or 26 million pounds, there's no risk. Some arguments might say, well, he's not Premier League proven, but if you look at what Brighton do, what a lot of clubs are doing, they just bring him on from the grassroots leagues, and barabish barabush to become 100 million pound players. We're talking of course, Moises Caicedo, that, came to Premier League for 7 million pounds, and he was sold for a record fee over 100 million to Chelsea. So this is what excites me. But however, it's all down to Manchester United and how they're doing business. I know the negotiation tactics is to sort of frustrate, the clubs, to say this is the valuation, we're not going to go over the market. But this is the one you cannot snooze on. Richard Rios will be a transformative signing for Manchester United. Now, I'm adamant that Manchester United, after the Mbeumo deal, will attack the central midfield to get either a Richard Rios or potentially an Edison. Those two are highly on Manchester United's list as well, been hearing. And let us see, a lot of people are saying Roma, but Alfredo Padula and I reported yesterday that Roma don't have the financial capabilities to go over 25 million. And the player and Palmeiras are willing to wait. They're not in a hurry. They know that there's interest from Manchester United and Inter Milan to enter the race. So we will see. We will follow this one very closely. That is the most exciting transfer news that we can give you today. But let's transition over to the strikers. We see that, Arsenal, Victor Gyökeres, here we go, very soon. But seriously, Victor, you got to look at your agent, Hassan Sentiaka. Wherever he's involved, he was even involved with the Frankie de Jong story. It's a mess. It's a seriously mess. But how Arsenal got this over the line was to pay 56 million upfront fee, but no installments, and that is going to hurt them with the PSR. And Man United looked at this deal and thought there's no resale value. We can't do this deal simply because he's 27 years of age. You offer him a 5-year contract, and barabish barabush. We can't sell him. But the return on investment is goals, and something that we are lacking. Now, what is going on with Benjamin Sesko in that case that was linked to Arsenal? Well, just look back in the rearview mirror. Manchester United was even linked with Benjamin Sesko prior to Arsenal. He's been on Manchester United's radar for past over 2 years. We know we had conversations with him. We know that Vivel, which is Christopher Vivel, ex-RB Leipzig recruitment manager, has genius connections with him. Is this something that Manchester United can do at the end of the window? I mean, if you look at Benjamin Sesko, he fits the mold of what Ineos wants to do. Young, up-and-coming striker. I think he had 15 goal contributions, 15 goals in the Bundesliga last year. I think he's tall specimen. He's good in the air. He's got a lethal shot. And he's fast, he's quick. He can run the channels. And I would say that, better than whatever we've been linked to. Calvert-Lewin, forget about it. Callum Wilson, forget about it. A 29-year-old Ollie Watkins, I don't think we're going to do that deal. And Hugo Etiquette looks like he's going head on to Newcastle. So what is there left to be speculated? I know there's media reports saying Duhan Vlahovic, but no, Duhan Vlahovic is not on Manchester United's radar whatsoever. Doesn't fit the system. And now we're seeing reports that AC Milan are in advanced talks with Duhan Vlahovic. Everything is spinning right now. I know that we are going on a pre-season tour next week. Bryan Mbeumo, will we see Here We Go? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think that Manchester United will pull the deal for the Richard Rios as what we've been reported? Or do you think that Edison is the one to go for? Me personally, from a financial perspective, from a play output, like for like, I'll go for Richard Rios, 25-year-old, and we will see what's happened. Anyway, this has been Mick Ruby on this day of recording. Hopefully, we go for Bryan Mbeumo very soon. Get on with it, guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm on a chill settings in Bali, as you can see, with the glasses and everything else. But there's nothing else to report on, so here, unless we get a Here We Go for Bryan Mbeumo, I'll be live. Glory, glory, Manchester United. Speak to you soon. Ciao, Bella. Bye.